Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Welcome to the most choshev guest, Reb Nachman Seltzer. What a Emma's story. I dreamt last night that he came back. Seriously, I'm not. I can't make this up. Rav Eli, thank you so much for your shiurim. Now that I started Bava Metzia, subscribe to the WhatsApp group. I flew yesterday from Frankfurt, and I must admit, I never enjoyed a plane ride like this ever before. As the plane took off, I started Ashear and finished the same second we landed. I can't even describe. He must have done it on half speed. Like, how do you? I guess it's a very quick flight. Within like England, Mustama to Frankfurt. That's 45 minutes, 50 minutes. I don't know. Thank you again. May be able to continue Mizaki Klal Yisroel for many healthy years. David Stern. Eliezer Afraimov. I'm putting these two emails together. Not the one we read, but the next one. My name is Eliezer. I'm in grade 8 and started learning Bava Kama back in November with my class. Aha. Shalom Aleichem. My name is Eliezer. He's in 8th grade. At the time, your shir was holding by Bava Kama as well. Even though I wasn't planning to finish the whole siyadta with you guys, I said to myself, why not do some chazorah at home with the rebellious shir? Days were going by. I'm like, wow, the way he explained the Gemara is so interesting, fun with all the pictures. So from then on, all the way until now, I'm still doing a daf a day with your shir, and I'm proud to say that I haven't missed a day ever since. Hatzlacha Rabbah. Dear Reb Eli, I'm in 9th grade. I'm in 9th grade in Yeshiva Darchei Torah. So you have a guy from 8th grade, a guy from 9th grade. I've written once before on how the daf affects my everyday life, and it happened so clearly once again. I'm a half a daf behind. I was learning today, daf, dalid, and then all of a sudden, Rebbe said how dollars means two, and proved it by bringing subas, by panim chadashes, that is also means two. The crazy part is that is exactly what I learned in shir today. Panim chadashes on the bottom of Zayin Amud Beis in subas. See, Torah connects. Daf Daled in Bava Metzia, Daf Zayin and Ksubas. I just want to thank Rebbe for all the Rebbe teach me and to bring nachas to him. That no matter what anybody says, the daf really does change your life. Once again, thank you so much for bringing extra joy into my everyday life. Your Talmud, Ahron Fraiman, dafer sin siyadta. Yeshiva Darchei Torah. That you could wait for it to change your life, but we shmooze about it after shir. Not in front of me. You don't want to embarrass me like that. Shalom Aleichem Reb Eli. My name is Eliezer. Oh, wait a minute. I did this already? Oh, yeah. Wrong direction. Here we go. Good morning. My name is Ahron Fraiman. I've been listening to this shir since Yavamas. Really enjoyed it. I listen to it every single day, no matter where or what time of the day. After a long day out in the cold, as I do construction, I sometimes listen to between job sites since it's so easy to access the shir by so many different platforms. Been recently in Poland. Okay, learned by Ramey Shapiro. In addition, this took a big role in my family as we were involved in this as well. My 8-year-old daughter recently got an MP3 player called 24/6. I just heard about this. A lot of people are telling me about it, which only has access to Jewish music. And she found an album named Torah, went and found the shir in Reb Eli, and came running and dancing in joy to tell me how she listened to a few minutes of the amazing shir. The family got together, got me a gift stender to make it easy to learn. Take a look at the picture attached. I feel honored to be part of the shir, as it really changed my life and the atmosphere in my family as well. Keep up the great shir. Zechurya, your Yaniv Blazer from Borough Park. Chazak v'matz be zechus for ganz Klal Yisroel. Here's the stender. It's not about the daf. It's about the Yomi. Reb Yaniv Friedman. Boy side, this is everybody's friend, especially Mendy Auerbach Simcha Firestone from Boca Raton, Florida.
Eli, I just want to say, if someone finds there's a platform...
If you're standing in the wrong place, the camera can't see you. So go over there, we'll schmooze. Yeah, what?
If there's a platform that we're not on, that people think we should be on, send us an email and I can try and fix that too.
A platform that we're not on. What platform could that possibly be? I thought we were in every single platform. Okay. People are complaining. People are sending in. As we're on a bus on the way to the Air Force Base on the first annual Brother Mission by JNF, helping Israel fund, instead of having an actual team, I tried to recruit 38 mostly non-observant Jewish doctors and lawyers from South Florida by giving a speech about Rabbi Stefansky doing the daf. May Hashem bench you and I, both, that most of the men join our Daf Yomi, and that will celebrate my Siyum Hashas together at the end of the Gemara and Megillah. However, If there is room on the cruise, can I please go on the cruise anyway? Mazal Tov, Simcha, Firestone, Boca Raton, Florida. Here he is. Rabbi said, I don't know if we're going to do the whole thing, but here's a shyer kind of man getting up in front of all these doctors and lawyers, coming out of his comfort zone to push Torah.
So my name is Simcha Firestone, and I'm going to not talk a lot about Israel. I'm just going to talk about something Jewish for a second. So about 2 years and a couple months ago, I started doing something called the Daf Yomi. Basically, there's two Torahs. There's the written Torah, which is the Chumash and the Nevi'im. That's one part. And the other part is the oral Torah, which is split up. If you do it about 40 minutes a day for 7.5 years straight, you would cover the whole thing. In there, the details, the rabbis fighting with each other, and the outcomes of that. It's not, I grew up Reform, I had not a strong Jewish background growing up, and I'm modern Orthodox, so it's very hard for me to learn Gemara. But this particular place that I learned the Gemara at is this Rabbi Stefansky. He's from Ramat Beit Shemesh, but he's American, and so he also hired a cartoonist, and they have graphic designers, and they basically dumb it down for people I think like me. Now, there's a bunch of people on the bus that are much more learned than me, and they don't need it. But just in case you're interested, the website is 8mindaf.com. I can tell you more about it later if you want to sign up.
All right, Ishkoyach. He did come out of his comfort zone. Ishkoyach. Rabbi said yesterday, 50 of us, 50 of us went, including Mendy and a bunch of chevra here, went out to an army base to celebrate the Siyum on Bava Kama, and we have Donnie Fine running around, recruiting Chayalim, giving out Gemaras there. People were very appreciative. They were giving out at the same time. Another group came in and was giving out smaller Gemaras, pocket-sized Gemaras, and basically just going over I went over to at least 50 Chayalim, said, thank you very much. Makir Tov. And every single one said back, no, thank you for the barbecue. Thank you. I said, it's not me, it's Fishel. So, Yishkoyach Reb Fishel, not stam a barbecue. They all got steak. Yishkoyach. And here, just one clip of the Olam dancing together. There's live music from guys. Anyway, you get the idea. This was a beautiful thing. It was very, very inspiring, actually. All right. The Masechta sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Oh, so we have a Masechta sponsor as he left. Shkoyach, Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Paras Chodesh, Mazal Tov Ahron, Reb Eli, in the time of mishpacha and the birth of Sophia Ruth. That's my granddaughter. I'm just missing. Yeah. Paras Chodesh, Nishma Zechraya ben Moshe, Nishma Zechraya bas Yosef. Paras Chodesh, Ahron Fraiman should be zechus to Reb Eli for continuing siyadta dishmaya and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Paras Shavua, L'Refuah Shlema, Yuטא bas גיטל ריזה, the Olam on Zoom. Shalom Aleichem. Yesterday I was able to be on Zoom, so I missed a big part of Pesukah de Zimra, but they were very upset that I haven't been on Zoom for a long time. It was very nice. Yaniv Blazer in honor of Nesanel Gantz for his tireless efforts in helping Klal Yisroel. Eli Ashear in honor of Mag Zevi coming to the Shear. She had one yesterday. This is somebody else. I don't remember the exact name of yesterday. But Eli Ashear, anonymous with the zechus and easy childbirth of his daughter and healthy baby. That's the art of the month. And Rabbi Isai, our very own Meradnik Kash, is making a bar mitzvah today for his son Ralph. I know him well. I met him. The tzaddik of a yid. Like in his house, in Raz's house, you can't talk. I'm not saying you cannot mention a sports figure in his house. You can't say Michael Jordan, LeBron James. They don't know these things. They don't know. The women in the Syrian community, a lot of the women don't have smartphones. It's a whole, you wouldn't believe it. the amount of Torah that these people learn in the morning, the whole community, they all go to shul, every base marriage, hundreds of people, every base marriage, every morning. So you look at them, they look, huh? Sharetz came from, yeah.
Over between 2,000 and 3,000 people learning every night.
3,000 people? Wow.
Learning every night.
I'm saying, I went into shuls there, 300-400 people. They have great food, bagels. That's not lunch. That's for Ashkenaz in the morning. Yeah.
Night.
No, the place is packed. You can't find a seat. They're all learning like it's normal. Like they. It's a different. They live in a different world over there. Some of them are like over here, some of them there, but it's a little different than what I was used to. All right. Rabbi Sai, we're holding on Daf Vav Amud Aleph. Before we begin, I'd like to ask the Olam to think for a second before you answer. You hear this? Question. How many types, before you answer, think for 5 seconds. If you know the answer, raise your hand. How many types of B'chorim are there in this world? How many types of B'chorim? Can anybody think? Anybody? You say 2. Anybody say 4 or 5? No? But were you here last night?
No.
Wow. Okay, no, what are the 3? Let's hear. Oh, that's the hard one. So you got it. Chamor, Adam, and Behema. If you have a firstborn animal, you have to give it to a kohen. And if you have a donkey, you have to redeem it. So those are the types. Firstborn. Okay. Rabbi Sai, we're holding first word on Daf Vav. So yesterday, we had the opinion of Reb Elchanan. Why does the Mishnah say if 2 people come into Bezin grabbing a talus, this one says it's mine, this one says it's mine, we give them each half, but each one has to make a shvuah. Why do you have to make a shvuah? So Reb Elchanan says, the famous Reb Elchanan, that we don't want people just to come and start grabbing people's talesim. Their objects, stop. Walking over to somebody and start grabbing something. So the Gemara asked the question, if you think that he's an individual that just walks over randomly to a person and grabs his shtreimel off his head. So he's a Rasha, he's a bad guy. So what good is it to give him a shvuah? He'll lie in the shvuah. How's the shvuah going to help? So the Gemara answers, no. Just because he steals doesn't mean that he's going to hold the Sefer Torah in his hand and say Hashem's name in vain. It's different. Stealing is one thing. If we don't trust you with money, it doesn't mean that we don't trust you with the shvuah. That's basically what we're going to come up with in a few minutes. But before that, we want to go through a couple of cases here. And in doing so, we're going to do a little chazara again. Easier kind of daf, believe it or not, from beginning to end. Velaha da Omar Rav Nachman. Mashbi noisei shvuas heses. So here's a bit of a cartoon of shvuas heses. Shvuas heses, basically, you remember what shvuas heses is? Shvuas heses is in a situation where a person denies everything. I say you owe me 100, you say 0. So Chachamim say, and I'll just remind the Olam, Chazaka ein adam tayin elam ken yesh li biyadai. This is a chazaka. I'm not just gonna. No one's gonna walk over to me and say, "Hey, you owe me $100," if he doesn't even know who I am. Obviously, we had some dealings before. There was something about money. When something passed between us. You gave me some money. Maybe I paid you back. Maybe I didn't. But there's something going on here. It's time to walk over to a guy and accuse him of owing him money. That doesn't happen. And therefore, we give him this shvuas heses business, and that's to intimidate him, to shake him up, to incite him, to lahasitoto. Shvuas heses. Yes, you say you don't know anything, make a shvuah. But once again, if you think that he's a Rasha, he stole from somebody, he's lying, he really owes the guy $100 and he's lying 100%. And he's saying, no, 0. Now think about it. We know this Rabbah, we did it many times. Rabbah says we have a chazaka person, is not going to be a mechutza if he's enodemeis panav. A person can't look into somebody's eyes, a guy that lent him money, and look at him in the eye and say, I don't know you a dime. It's impossible. People don't do that, only Napoleon. But a yid can't do that. Here he is standing there looking in the guy's eyes and says, I don't know you. So such a guy that's such a mechutzef, he has no conscience. He can look at a guy like that and say, no, you never lent me anything. So he's not going to have a problem to swear falsely. To give it a little mashal, a wife tells her husband, Matzah Yom Kippur, says, Yassel, there's a piece of chicken missing from the pan. What happened? He says, I didn't eat chicken, it's Yom Kippur. He says, you didn't eat chicken, so who ate the chicken? What, you're accusing me of eating Yom Kippur? I'm not, there's nobody else, it's just me, you, in the house. Who else could it have been? She says, look, if you don't trust me, give me your coffee that has milk in it, I'll drink it right now. So, does that work? No, it doesn't work. You're saying that he ate on Yom Kippur. So he's not going to be makbid on a little milk in the coffee? You're saying that he stole. So now you're going to give him a shvuah, and that's going to help us. It's not going to help. V'su, Chazara, what's the case, Rabbi Yosef? Let's see what we have here. We have the storekeeper that jots down on his pad. And basically, the story is that we have three people. We have an employer who tells his worker, go to the store and buy up to $1,000, and that's how I'm going to pay you this month. The storekeeper was also told by the employer, give him $1,000. Okay, and I'll pay you. The storekeeper comes to him at the end of the month, to the employer, and says, pay me. The worker comes to the employer at the end of the month, he says, pay me. So he tells him, but I told you to go to the store. He says, I went to the store. The guy said, no credit. I'm not giving you anything. He goes to the shopkeeper. So the shopkeeper says, no, he took $1,000 worth of stuff. So we had this sugya ready, at least once. And we said that the problem is not between the worker and the shopkeeper. The problem is between the employer and the worker and the employer and the shopkeeper. And therefore, each one gets paid. But according to Reb Chia, who says, each one has to swear first, and then they get their money. One of them is 100% lying. Either the shopkeeper never gave the worker anything, or either the worker took. But something's going on here. One of them is lying. Nevertheless, we trust him with the shvuah. How could that be? If one of them is lying, one of them is going to make a false shvuah. So how do you give him a shvuah? We have the shomer chinam. The shomer chinam who doesn't get paid for watching his stuff, and he says he likes what he has, right? He's watching the guy's jet ski. And he likes the jet ski. So he tells the guy, it was stolen. So we say, okay. There's three shvuas we make a shomer chinam do. First shvuah, I wasn't negligent. I didn't leave the door wide open to allow the ganavim to come in. Shvuah shalei shalachti b'yad. I'm swearing that I didn't take it myself. And finally, this is the shvuah that's important to us for our sugya. Shvuah she'ena b'rshusi. What does that mean? I didn't steal it. I don't have the jet ski. So you're chayshing me that I do have your jet ski. You're making me make a shvuah that I don't. Isn't that a contradiction? You're telling me you're a ganav. Prove that you're not a ganav with a shvuah. If you're chayshing me that I'm a ganav, I stole the jet ski, don't trust me with the shvuah. Ella says the Gemara, the bottom line is, like we said yesterday, just because a person is, how do you say chashad in English? Suspect on monetary things. A lot of people, unfortunately, that take it lightly and they steal from other people. It's a minig, it's a this, whatever they want to do. But even a very secular Jew would have a very hard problem holding on to a Sefer Torah and saying, I swear in Hashem's name, this and this happened. That same person might steal, but he won't swear in a Sefer Torah. Abaya argues in Rabbi Elchanan. Rabbi Elchanan says the purpose of the shvuah and the mission is what? To prevent people from grabbing stuff that's not theirs. Rabbi says no. Interesting. If you know that somebody owes you money, and that guy denies it, what are your options? They're very limited. You don't have a shtar, you don't have that. So you know what you do? take matters into your own hand. You go over to that guy, you grab some stuff from him. It's a mutter 100%, not mutter. It could be it's mutter, maybe. He owes you the money, it's yours. You're not taking something that's not yours, it's yours. So we're concerned that the guy knows that the other person lifted the talus. But he needs, the other guy, the second guy, is grabbing what is really his. The first person's property is his property. Why? Because he owes him the money. So he grabbed onto the talus. So he's not a ganav, he's saying the truth. He asked the Gemara, Nishko b'lo shvua. Now we have to fix this a little bit. It makes no sense. If it's really his, so what's a shvua going to help? First of all, you shouldn't give him a shvua. And if you give him a shvua, he'll say, yeah, it's mine. Because it really is his. The shvua's not going to help here. If that's what you're concerned about. Ella, what he meant is, the guy knows he lent him money, he just forgot that he paid him back. You know how it goes with memory. Not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly. It's vague. I remember something vaguely. Maybe he was speaking about paying back, but he didn't really pay back. I'm not sure. And therefore, he grabbed onto the talus. Why did he grab onto the talus? I'll grab now. I'll ask questions later. Maybe I'll come home. I'll relax. I'll think, did he pay me? Not. If he paid me, I'll give it back. If he didn't pay me, I'll keep it. Okay. Says Gemara, but a guy like that, how can you trust him on a shvua? He's going to make a shvua where he shouldn't be making a shvua. Says Gemara, Rav Sheshes buried Rav Eli, parshi inchim misafik shvua v'li parshi misafik mamayna. People stay away from a safik shvua, but they don't stay away from a safik mammon. What does that mean? That if he is concerned, and we'll go my time, but the Gemara explains, mammon ise b'chazara, shvua lesa b'chazara. You can't take a shvua back. Well, you're not going to make a shvua because maybe. On a maybe, what if you made a mistake? You can't take that problem back. You hurt somebody's feelings. You're going to take it back now. You could ask him for forgiveness, but you hurt his feelings. So you can't take a shvua back. Money, he thinks to himself, well, if I can't figure it out, I'll give it right back. Not, Tosfos points out, not if I figure it out, I'll keep it. But if I don't figure it out, I'll give myself a day or two. I'm going to concentrate, quiet room. I'm going to space out a little bit. I'm going to think about this. And I'm going to ask my wife. And if we can't come up with, did he pay us back or not? I'll give it back right away. I'm not doing the biggest affair in the world. I borrowed his talus for a day or two. Okay? I didn't steal it. I took it for a little bit, for a few minutes, just I had an opportunity. I saw it's available. It was sticking out like that. I grabbed it. Now I'm going to think, and I'm going to give it back, though, says Tosfos. If I cannot remember, I'll give it back. That's how he rationalizes it himself. Why is he happy? But you can't rationalize the shvua. Nobody's going to rationalize shvua. Oh, if I made a mistake with the shvua, I'll say Chatasi Avisi Pashati Hashem. Forgive. No, it doesn't work like that. That is not. You can't eat treif and then and I'll find out if it's not treif and then I'll say sorry Hashem. That doesn't work. Nobody's going to do that. But to take somebody's object temporarily, that people do. We're going into a sugya of grabbing. Takva means to grab. So what happens if we have a little bit of a video here? A guy grabs. In other words, here they're mamish in front of Bezdin. They grab from each other. One guy gets it, and the other guy doesn't get it. Yeah, you saw the guy on the left grabbed it. It's completely in his hands. Bezdin views this. It's in front of Bezdin. So, is this a question or not? Bezdin saw it, so they saw. So you grabbed it. You're stronger. Is this a question of? There's a halacha called kol da'alam gvar. You're stronger, you win. But that's not what's going on here. They're in front of Bezdin. There's no kol da'alam. They came to Bezdin for a psak. Says Gemara, wait a minute. We have to quantify this, clarify this. This doesn't make any sense what you're saying. If the guy on the right that fell down, the picture hit him in the head, he was left without the sweatshirt. The guy on the left was left with the sweatshirt. Either shasik or the oidele. Here we have a concept in Shas, versteht sich, shtike koida. A person that is silent, he's complacent, he admits. He says, that's basically, I'm admitting to you that you're right. What should he do? He should jump up and say, hey, Bezin, you saw the guy, I told you he's a violent man. I told you he's a guy that grabs stuff. Look, he just proved it right in front of you. He should have said something. If a guy screams, so he did everything he can do. He doesn't want to fight there in front of Bezin. He's going to start fighting back. The word tzavach, he screamed. Screamed. He's back. So eventually I'll get in. You left me here for 3 weeks without any tikkunim. It's back to the bad habits. He screamed. Boy, it sounds so off. He screamed. The whole life, 51 years I'm saying scream. And now it's screamed. It's everybody. Okay. The Amaratzis, the Amoritz. Rav Gifta said that these yeshiv bachim, Amaratzim in 3 languages. In Hebrew, English, and Yiddish. He was talking to me 100%. In Yiddish for sure. Hebrew, Hashem Yirachem. Yeah. Okay. Every night it's getting better, he says. Okay. So Stam, the Kuda of Tzavach. What's the screaming? So there was I said this Maisa before, but you can do some Chazar once in a while. It's not always. Most of the Maisas are nice and fresh. This particular one. It's a guy comes to collect money in Chutz La'aretz, and he stays by the Rav. And every night he comes back from collecting, and he gives all his money to the Rebbetzin. He says, you have a save here, take the money. One morning he comes in, he says, Rebbetzin, I have a question. Well, your husband, he's a little mishigan. In davening, he's screaming, he's carrying on in davening. What's going on there? So the Rebbetzin turns around, walks away. Garnished. Okay, you got the idea, you got the hint. She wasn't interested. Finally, he tells the Rebbetzin, okay, I'm going back to Yisrael. It's very nice. Have a safe trip. Yeah, can I have my cash? Stuff I gave. She says, cash, I know what you're talking about. Every night I give you my stuff. I don't know what you're saying. She says, you ganavim. How dare you? She says, you see? When you care, you scream. My husband also. When he cares, he screams. She got the money back. It was the point. Make a point. Says Gemara. So this is very important for the sugya right here. So we got this idea here. Avi, you didn't tell me about this guy sitting next to you. What's going on here? How come he purposely asked you not to say? Shalom Aleichem, Tzadi. What's your name? Really? I don't care anymore. As long as it's not a year or 2, I'm fine. I had a problem here. Baruch over there, sitting over there. What's his last name? Shafnus? Shafnus. Rebuch Shafnus. I walk over to him in shul. I say, Shalom Aleichem. I see you learning Bava Kama. Maybe come to the shir. You're laughing. What are you laughing? He says, he's here for over a year.
Remember, once he used to come, he would say to him, Eli
what?
Remember, every time you'd be like, Eli what? Oh, a new guy. You don't know this.
That's something, yeah. You have to get him back, Eli what. Okay, so, but I'll tell you after share, it's not nobody has to suffer because you weren't here. But because I said something like that, he gave me one of the best lines ever. The line is, Best Zaina Poshet Tamid Chacham via Go'ina Sham Haaretz. Okay. If somebody wants to learn Iyun, okay. Anyway, and then Benny comes to me and says, I was trying to get a guy to do the daf. The guy says, I only do Iyun. Says, but have you learned lately? No, I don't learn. He says, so I told him the line. Best Zaina, what's the line, Rav Eli? You have to learn the line. We're making sweatshirts, t-shirts. You gave him a t-shirt. Okay, here, this is the Nakuda Rabbi Yisai for the rest of the sugi. This line right over here. What happened is, this shasik mi kara v'hadar tzavach. That's what happened, and we're going to see through all the cases now in the sugi. First, he was quiet. Why? And the Gemara is going to explain. It makes a lot of sense. He's in front of a bezin. He has to scream in front of the bezin. The all witnesses, video cameras. Why should he scream? Then he realized, wait a minute, they're not doing anything about it. So he starts screaming. So the fact that you were quiet in the beginning, does that show anything? Or maybe you have a good reason for being quiet, and the fact that you scream later on, that's enough. My screamed later on. My midish, the goydu. If he was quiet, we have the shtika kaida problem. Dilma, given the kotzavach hashto igloi milsa the hayde shosig mikara savar hakachazul rabbanon. Or perhaps the fact that he was quiet, he thought, chachamim, there's 3 rabbanim over there, you got to rely on the rabbanim. They said, nah, vasepes, you have to stick up for yourself. There was a Rav that said, and I'm not saying this is MS, but there's some truth to it, because I was actually in Bezdin twice in my life. I thought it was once, but it's twice. Twice. And I learned over there that you can't be an Eidela person. You can't come in like, okay, the Bezdin understands. No, you have to like be tough and stick up for yourself. The Rav said, if you're not stronger than the other guy and a bigger Russian than the other guy, don't go to Bezdin. No, you have to have.
You need a good tie-in. Very good tie-in.
Okay. Those guys scream, right?
Very good tie-in.
They scream, they this, you're not built for that. Stay out of Bezdin. Okay. This guy, he comes into Bezdin. Listen, Eidela guy, I'm going to start screaming over here. I'm going to make a whole ruckus over here in front of the Dayanim, the Chashav people. Quiet. All of a sudden he realizes, wait a minute, it looks like they're going that way. They believe him because he grabbed it. I better start screaming. So he starts screaming. Omer Rav Nachman, which remind me, I saw a very interesting thing here in Israel, and it explained to me a lot about the mentality in Israel. I used to go a lot to the court, unfortunately, it's in the Arab section of Yerushalayim, and so they wouldn't let the Arabs come in. So what does an Arab do when you say you can't come in? I saw this 20 times. They start screaming immediately. Let me in! And then there's a certain thing that when a person screams like that with all the confidence, you start negotiating with him. That's how it was. I saw it so many times. As soon as you say, no, we can't let in more than 10 people right now, you're over the limit. They don't say, okay, and they walk away. They start screaming. It's a mentality. You see it over here in the construction sites. It's a screaming thing. And if you understand that, you can understand a lot of what goes on in Eretz Yisrael also. Okay, fine. So you have to learn. Tzavach, you have to scream. It says in the Bryce explains our first Mishnah. What's going on? 2 people are holding on to a talus. So what's going on? Both people are holding it. If only one person is holding on to it, what's the halacha? Is there any chiddush in that at all? No. If one person is holding something, I'm holding this. Obviously, it's mine. You're holding that. It's yours. What's the big chiddush? If it's simply as stated, pshita, the 0 chiddush here. He comes into Bezdin with a talus, and the guy's following 10 feet behind, and he says, it's my talus. Bezdin's going to look and say, don't waste our time. This must be our case. So Rabbi said, don't forget our case. What is our case? One guy grabbed, the other guy was what? Quiet. And then 10 minutes later, he starts screaming. Okay, it's a 3-step process. Tokaf, he grabs it. Shasak, tzavach. And what do you see? That says in the Bryce, too bad. So what if you scream later? It's too late. Scream later. That's the only way to get it in. No, what happened was they came when both of them were grabbing it. It's a different story, Rabbi. It's a different story. We're going to get out of it in a different way. No right. So why? Pastor was talking about, we told them go outside, divided, unafaku when they went outside. They come back in, and lo and behold, one of them is grabbing it. So, but let's hear what they have to say. The other guy says, listen, I sat and I explained to him, I said, you thought that you grabbed at the same exact time with me, right? What's your raya? Because when we lifted it up, we both lifted it up at the same time. But don't forget, the street was on an incline, and that's why. Oh yeah, you're right. It wasn't an incline. So maybe you're right. Maybe you did. Okay, fine. It's yours. He explained it to him. He was minded to him. But the other guy, the other guy says, no, he didn't explain it to me. I rented it to him. He says, you know what? You get 50% of the suit. I have a wedding tonight. I got to go to a wedding. Could I just rent the suit from you? He said, yes. So the Gemara says, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody's renting to you anything. Why? Then really, you're running with him to Bezdin because he's saying he's a gazlan. he grabbed my thing. All of a sudden, you trust the guy? Can't be. Logically, it doesn't make sense. Here. I like this better. Mendy. Grab this little fringe over here. Just this. So, you see, I'm holding the entire talus, and he's grabbing on to shtickle this. Look at him. Look. He's nothing. That is nothing compared to what I'm holding on to. Okay, so Masr Seruchi barely holding it. He did a picture here. I don't know exactly if I like the picture because it doesn't show that he's holding the whole beged. You can see the guy on the right is barely grabbing it. Okay, that's how Yoshi viewed it. So, I would like the other guy holding more of it. Yeah. Vafilul sumchos. Do amar moment Amud Besavik chalkim b'lei shvua chazar. Rabbi said, what's moment Amud Besavik? Let's see chazar that we never forget this thing. Moment Amud Besavik is the case of shar shenogas hapara v'nimtzar ubra b'tzida. We have a shar that damages a cow, and we have no idea when it lost the uber. Did she give birth right before she got hit by the ox? Or did she give birth because of the ox? Did the ox kill the baby as well? That's a suffix that nobody will ever be able to be paishat. And therefore, Maman Amud B'Safik, it's money, monetary, that's mutal, that's lays here b'safik in a question. Chalkim le'shvua says, Sumchos in that case, what do you do? Each one gets 50%. In this case, the owner of the shar would have to pay 50%. Without shvua, shvua is not going to help. What are you going to swear about? You don't know what happened. And now, so in other words, sumchos is mekel. Sumchos says you don't even need a shvua. Over here, the sumchos, the sirchel av klumi. Now, don't forget that two people holding on to a talus is also a bit of maman amud b'safek. Two people coming into Bezdin. Bezdin has no clue. How are they supposed to divide this? How are they supposed to do anything? They don't know what happened. We have two people holding on. There's no raya either way. Yet, if one person is holding on to a fringe and the other person holding on to the whole thing, Sumcha is not going to say yachloiku, because the fringe is nothing. Now, says the Gemara, we have two ways to look at it. On the tzad, that if you grab a talus in front of Bezdin, and the other guy was quiet, and then only 5 minutes later he screamed. Wow. He screamed. Yeah. If you say, it's nothing, zero, so what if you grabbed it? So then obviously, higdisha edem ukudeshes. Just we're going to have this line in 10 seconds, but why not put it up on the screen here? Concept in all of Shas, that when you buy a bike from me, I have to give it to you. You have to make hagbah, mishpacha. You have to do a kinyan. But when I say with my mouth, I say this bike should be hegdish, I'm donating this bike to the Beis HaMikdash. That's it. I don't have to give it to the Beis HaMikdash. Just by me saying that this sheep is a carbon. So now, if I grab your talus, it means nothing. Even if you were quiet, as long as you screamed later on, we take it away from you. So your grabbing is nothing. So your saying with your mouth is also nothing. But what if your grabbing is something? What if your grabbing means everything? If it's yours, you have so now instead of me grabbing physically, I said it with my mouth. I made this talus the Beis HaMikdash talus. How? Because if I can grab it and it becomes hegdish, it becomes mine. Not hegdish, it becomes mine. So me saying it, my words have the same power as grabbing. So I can make that talus that we're holding on to here. We're both pulling. Hegdish. Why not? Perhaps if I say that the entire talus, even the part that I'm not holding on to, the part that you're holding on to, is hegdish, maybe it's like as if halachically I grabbed it out of his hand. What's the difference? I grab it out of his hand and it becomes mine, or I just say, "Hey, it's hegdish." Since we learn halacha that all you need to do by Hegdish is to say you don't have to take any action. Command the takvadami. Perhaps it's as if you grabbed it out of the guy's hand. At the end of the day, you didn't grab it. And is basic Kodesh. You could sanctify, you could make your house Kodesh. It has to be like your house. It has to be something that's completely in your possession. But this house is not in your possession. It's in both of your possession. Says Gemara Tashma. There was a bathhouse. We're not going to go into is a barrel, or we're going to just say it's like this for now. A masusa looks like. Oh, first of all, let me show you this. This is Amirosel Gavoya Kimisirosel, as if you gave it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rizeh Hegdish. Look, he says Rizeh Hegdish. Look what happens. It's as if you gave it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You just have to say it. Boom. Okay. There was a bathhouse that there was a big fight over it. So let me just show you real quickly what a bathhouse is. It's posh. Yeah, bathhouse. People go diving there. People enjoy themselves. And there's two people fighting over it. Both say, each one says it's mine. One of them sees he's a sore loser. He sees he's not going to win. He doesn't have any documentation. He doesn't have any proof. Garnish. He says, you know what? If I can't get it, you can't get it. On the side that it's mine, Hegdish, it's for Hashem. Now, if it's Hegdish, if in fact it is Hegdish, is anybody allowed to use the Beis HaMerchatz? Why not? Mila. It's called Mi'ila. A true story. There's a Beis Medrash right now today in Bnei Brak called Imri Yehuda. There's a big fight between two groups. What else is new? Fight. This group says it's ours, this is ours. So one group got up and said, you know what? Kainam, making a neder on this thing, nobody could use it. Kainam. So what do they gain by that? They gained that anybody that doesn't know what's flying would have a problem coming into the Beis Medrash. So one of these Batei Midrashim you can't walk into. The people that are part of the Beis Medrash, they hold it's theirs. Okay, they don't care about the Kainam. But any other Bnei Braki walking around, you heard it, Imri Yehuda, I don't know if I could go in. There's a Kainam, there's a Chayrim to go in, I don't know what. Okay, I'm saying, Ma'aseh Shaya Bizman Hazeh. Parshimino, Rav Chananya, Rav Ishaya, V'kulu Rabbanon. Interesting. Rav Chananya, I'm going to tell you who he is in a second. Rav Ishaya, I'll tell you who he is in a second. V'kulu Rabbanon, all the Rabbanon didn't go in there. V'amalei Rav Ishaya l'Rabba. So Rav Ishaya tells Rabba. Now what's the relationship between Rav Ishaya and Rabba? Rav Ishaya and Rav Chananya, believe it or not, are Rabba's brothers. They're both his brothers. Rabba was younger than them. So the older brother, Rav Ishaya, says to his younger brother, Rabba, the famous Rabba. Who's Rabba? Abayi's Rebbe. Yeah? We're going to see in a second. He's Abayi's Rebbe. Abayi calls him Mar. Abayi grew up by him. Tells his brother, when you're on your way to Kafri. Unfortunately, I didn't put it here in the map. I have no idea where it is. But you're on the way over there to Kafri. You're passing by Surah, famous Surah, with the Rav was the Rosh Yeshiva there. I'm sorry. Ask over there. To ask Rav Chisda what the Allah is. You have two people fighting over a bathhouse, and one of them says it's Hegdish. What do you do? He comes to Surah. Amar Lei Rav Amnuna. Rav Amnuna said, "Masisani, isn't this a Mishnah? You have an animal or a human being that was born, and you don't know if he's the firstborn. What's the case? Perhaps the mother gave birth to something beforehand. A B'char has to be Peterechem, the first out of the womb. Maybe she had a miscarriage of something that resembles a human being, or in the case of an animal, something that resembles an animal, but it's not 100% what it was. We don't know if it was a real miscarriage or not. If it was a real miscarriage, then she already had her firstborn, and this is the secondborn, not a B'char. If it's not a real miscarriage, then maybe this is a firstborn. I don't know. We don't know what it is. So we have a suffix. Now, who gets the firstborn? The Kohen gets the firstborn animal. He also gets the 5 slime from a human being. Bein tahir and bein tmeim. What does tmeim mean? What kind of firstborn do we have by a non-kosher animal? Chamar. Bet chamor. How does it work? You have a firstborn donkey. You have to redeem it with a sheep. A sheep nowadays costs more money probably than a donkey, but let's say it costs less. So you get away with a discount. I gave the kohen a sheep, and I get to keep my donkey. Let's say I don't have a sheep. I don't want to use a sheep. So then I'm going to have to pay the kohen the full price of the donkey. Fine. But says the Mishnah, Hamoitzi michaveroi olav haraya. Stop. What does that mean? The kohen, who said that? The kohen, very good. The kohen, does everybody agree with him? Hamoitzi michaveroi haraya. The Yisrael has an animal that's a suffix. Hamoitzi michaveroi haraya. Who has to bring a raya? The kohen, if he wants the animal, has to bring a raya. Let me ask you a question. What if the kohen grabs it, and now it's by him? Does the Yisrael have to bring a raya? Yes. That's what the Gemara understands right now. That if the kohen grabs it, how much we have a raya? Okay, that's the end of the sugya. What is that called, those words? Takva kohen. If the kohen grabbed it. Now we understand what takva kohen is. Now we can go on to the next sugya. How much we have a raya? V'tani Allah. And it also says, Asurim begiz v'avoda. Ooh, this animal, obviously not the human being. You're allowed to shear the human being's wool off, and you're allowed to, work him, tell him to do stuff. But you're not allowed to work this animal. You're not allowed to shear its wool. Oh, hold on. Not a middle takva kai, my friend. By the way, takva kayin is a 3-month sugya in every yeshiva. It takes 3 months. And yesterday, guys that were here, we had a very, very nice amount. Baruch Hashem, the Olam was coming to the Hebrew shares, not as packed as here, but it was nice and packed. Guys told me afterwards, they never understood the sugya of takva kayin. It was very, from all the Rishonim and all the Sfeikis, they never understood just the basic. What happened? Like this line that we just said. Mamish, this line. I don't remember from Yeshiva. I remember the Rambam didn't match the Gemara. That's all I remember. I remember the Rambam says that takva kayin, you take it out, but it's from the man. It's mashma like passing like Rabbah. But I don't think we knew what was flying in the sugya. Like we knew everything around the sugya. You get to go to all the Rishonim and the Achronim. Fine. The Shach wrote a sefer called takva kayin. In fact, the Rebbes, a lot of Rebbes, they learned the sugya of takva kayin before Tkiyah Shofar. Why? Because takva and shofar are the same exact numeric value. 686, right? 686, pei vav, 86. Anyway, so, Stam, as a side note, but don't get nervous. What they learn in yeshiva in 3 months, we are pashat the Tamid Chachamim, not going to Shamaratzim. We learn in 3 minutes. It says, if the kohen would grab it, you, the Yisrael, have to bring a raya. We don't know whose it is. So whoever's in possession, the other guy has to bring a raya. So the Gemara brings a raya. Why is it also to shear the wool? Because if the kohen would grab it, it would be his. So you see that the kohen has a power over this animal. If he has a power over the animal, then it makes it kaddish now. There's a certain kedusha here because of his power to grab it. So in our case, if one of the owners would jump and say, Hegdish, it should become Hegdish. Why? Because he has the power to grab it. We're talking about if you hold, you're allowed to grab it and it becomes yours if the other guy doesn't scream either. If he didn't scream, no, I'm just kidding. So if the other guy didn't scream, then it becomes yours. Then if you didn't grab it, then from here is mashma that you have the right to make it hegdish. Why? Because otherwise, why would the giz of avodah be asur? Why would it be asur to shear the wool if the kohen didn't even grab it? No, because he has the ability to grab it. Then it has a certain kedusha. Amalei Rabbah, no. Rabbah says no. Rabbah was the messenger to ask the question by Rav Chizda. Rav Nuna told him, here, I have a raya from the Mishnah. He says, not a raya. Kedusha is bechar kamras. You're talking about a bechar here. Perhaps, it's not a raya, perhaps, if a kohen comes and grabs it, we take it out of him. He cannot hold on to it. In other words, the hamoitzi mechaveroi, all of raya was like that. Rabbi over there said that it's only one direction. The kohen who wants to grab it from Yisrael, he has to bring a raya. But if the kohen actually grabbed it, The Yisrael doesn't have to bring any right, he takes it right back. Who told you to grab it? Okay. So then why is it usher begizav avodah? Why is it usher to shear its wool? Not because he has the ability to grab it. Because a bechar becomes a bechar when it's born. You don't have to do anything to make it a bechar. The fact that it came into this world made it a bechar. The kedusha happens automatic. So that's why you shouldn't be shearing its wool, because you have a suffix if it automatically became kaddish. Nothing to do with the kohen's ability or not ability. And that's the end of the sugya really of takva kohen. Okay, there's 1,000 Rishonim here. What's la halach? How do we paskin? And how does it go? And why does the Rambam say this? The whole thing. Okay. Oh, sponsored. Choshev sponsors here. Let's go by the second one because he's here. We have the zechus of having Fishel here. And by the way, Fishel was from the very, very first people in Masechtas Brachas who would come here every single day with a taxi. I don't remember his name. His name was Eli something. Eli Lavi, who still does the shear today. The taxi driver became a big part of MDY, and he actually sponsored a big part of the Hebrew Siyum. Just this week. We see it for the Siyum. You knew about this visual? He's here, and he lives now in California, he said. I forgot where he said he lives. Anyways, so that's what happens. It's dangerous to be a taxi driver here. It's dangerous to interview me because the guy that interviewed me in Mishpacha magazine just became a big part of the shear. It's dangerous to become the photographer. You're going to become part of the shear. It's dangerous.
The videographer of our Siyum.
The videographer of the Siyum?
4 nights ago.
Joining. That's a dangerous thing. So, Ner Tamid of Baltimore, Maryland, in Ahron Fishel and Simcha Gross, thanks to them, 137 people learned 16,166 dapim of the Gemara, over 727,470 minutes. And we're Messiah and Bava Kama with MDY. Reb Fishel, do me just one favor. I have a big shaila here. Does this include the emails or does it not include the emails? This is 700. Kidnovations LLC in honor of my Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman as zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga Yisharkaya. Boys, we have to continue on. We have to finish the Amud, and we just have 3-4 minutes. Says the Gemara like this. Rav Hananya l'Rabba. Rav Hananya, his brother, tells Rabba, I have a Tana that corroborates your view. It says, Asfeikois nichnasim ladir li'saser. We're talking about very interesting, says Rashi. Don't think that you know what it means. It means a donkey that we don't know if he's the firstborn. So you have to set aside a sheep as a suffix because maybe this donkey is a firstborn. Every 10 sheep that you have to take Meiser Behema. Even on the sheep that you set aside for a donkey. So Mela, Asfeikois nichnasim ladir li'saser. Let me just show you real quickly how it looks. Every 10 sheep, by the way, the Kotzker Rebbe says, why is it called 10th is Kadosh? Because the 10th one gets a whack. Anytime you get a Zetz in life, you become a little bit more Kadosh. You become more elevated. Asiri Kadosh. So you give him this guy in red, you make him, he's the 10th. Now, says the Gemara, you could take that suffix sheep and put him into your pen and use him as the center, yeah? Center for the minion. And if you hold that if the kohen has the right on this animal, in other words, if he decides to be violent, grab it, we can't take it away from him. In a case, of course, that the guy was shoisik, and only afterwards tzivech. Why? Why do you allow this animal to be the 10th? You're using a kohen's animal, potential kohen's animal, for your meiser purposes. What if that 10th animal, here we even have a real picture, of a guy smearing red on the 10th animal. What if that 10th animal happens to be the kohen's? Yeah? He's smearing red. But it's not the Yisrael's. It's potentially the kohen's. If the kohen grabbed it, it's his. So how could you, and then you're going to take that animal, you know what you're going to do with it? Bring it to Yerushalayim, put it on the Mizbeach, and then eat all the meat. It's not yours. If the kohen has the right to grab it from you and it's his, how do you have the right to use it as meiser? You see how he calls him mar? Rabba is his Rebbe. Also brought him up. No, that's not a great raya, says Abaya. Why? Because there's only 9. And I used that guy as the 10th. And now it's a Mimon of Shach. A great story here in Eretz Yisrael. There was a yeshiva guy that went on a radio station and he pretended that he was not from. He says, my name is Gidon and I want to argue about politics. Okay, what do you have to say, Gidon? Where are you from? Shomer HaTzair. You're not allowed to, no tefillah, nothing over there. He says, okay. He says, you know, Yair Lapid, Miman Afshach. Miman Afshach, get out of here. You're Yeshiva Bacher. Stop it. The Man Afshach. Ibar Chiyuvu Shapirko Maaser. So the 10th, the center, the guy, the last one, I'll use him as a Man Afshach. If he's mine, my Yisrael's, okay, so now I have 10. But if he's the Kayan's, I don't have 10, I only have 9, so I don't have to use him. So I called up Leiby last night. I said, Leiby, I got a problem here in the sugya. Where's Rabbi Yedidya? I don't know. So Leiby went to look for him, and all of a sudden Rabbi Yedidya comes up my stairs. He doesn't have a phone. He's huffing and puffing. He says, what do you want? I said, I don't get this. I have a little problem with the sugya. What do you mean? Let's say you really only had 9, and the 10th is fake. So now you made it meiser. Now you're going to bring it to the mizbeach and you're going to shecht something that's not meiser. How could you do that? It's chum ba'azara. No, you're going to make it shlamim, he tells me. Yeah, shlamim. And he runs out of my house. In the middle of the Hebrew shir, he comes flying back into the base marriage. No. It's not shlamim. Yirat yistav. Okay, fine. But at least you have to think about it. It's not so pasha. It doesn't become meiser because you only have 9 animals. If you have 9 animals, you can fine. Yirat yistav. Hodar amabaya. Lav milsi da amri. What I said is a mistake. The sfekel barisuri. If you have a suffix, you can never make a meiser. Boys, if you just came for this part, this is it. This is worth the whole day. Why? This nan. Listen to this. Let me tell you this halacha. Here's the case, real quickly. A guy is counting sheep. We're not going to go through all 10. Don't worry about it. This time they have Shreimlach Givaldi. All of a sudden, he's counting. All of a sudden, one comes back into the pen. Listen to what happens. He has 1,000 sheep in the pen. You know what the halacha is? Now one of them has to be meiser anymore. Not even one. Why? Because it says in the pasuk, once it passes the pen door, that's it. That's all it takes to be potter. It's minyan haroy. It's called minyan haroy. I had 10. I started off good. They came out of the door. One of the 10 dies. That's it. These guys are potter forever and ever. Now one of them comes back in. So now you have one that's 100% potter. That's it. The rest become potter. Roiv? No Roiv over here. Taisus, Rishonim, no Roiv. They all become potter. Why? Because it says Ha Asiri. It has to be Vadai, not Suffolk. So let's see it inside. That's the whole sugya. End of the day. It says the Gemara, it's not after you counted it, it jumped right back into the pen. Kulam Pturin, they're all potter. If I'm right, Abaya, that if you have a suffix, you should count it as 10. Should be meiser shapir. If I'm using guys that have a chiyuv meiser, so it's good. And if it's not a chiyuv, in other words, it already went out, it came back in. So I have this ptur called minyan haroy. Once I counted it, it's potter forever. Domarava minyan haroy potter. The Torah says you can't do it b'safek. It has to be 100%. Therefore, what? There's no suffix over here, says Abaya. Why? It's not like Rabbi says. We're trying to prove like Rabbi that what? It's not the Koyans. Because if it was a suffix the Koyans, you would never be able to use it as Meiser. The fact that I can use it as Meiser is proof that it's not the Koyans. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Shir la malois. Sorry, na elorim ayu avoyesri.